Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Road to Cheltenham. We are 5 weeks away from the tape going up on the Supreme Novice Hurdle and that famous Cheltenham Roar. And the big news this week, of course, we can wear what we want at the Cheltenham Festival. And when I sent the agenda out, I think Joel took it literally. This is us now at a day at the races.
Yes, that's it. How's it going? Nice one. I just saw a stand up like that. Look at that. See. So I mean, look, you technically can get in like this now, can't you? But is that sportswear? I don't know. You can't wear a Man United shirt or whatever, but you can wear what you want now.
I don't know what's worse, that or a Man United shirt.
All right then. All right. The only Leeds fan from Essex. I like that.
This is what we're going as now. Supreme Champion Hurdle Day.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm probably better dressed than a lot of people. That go. I mean, Haydock on a Friday night. This is standard now, isn't it?
That's smart attire.
Yeah, this is very smart attire.
They're trying to appeal to the masses.
Yeah. Well, whatever you like, but I'll be wearing the tweed suit because I paid 150 quid for it. I'm getting 10 years out of this.
You got hoodie on, but you still look smart.
We're smarter than him anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone looks smart. So
yeah, all right.
Right, we've got a great show ahead because, of course, it was a really busy weekend. It was the Dublin Racing Festival. Frankie was there. We're going to review all of that action. Don't forget, we are Nominal No Bet on the 4 Cheltenham Championship races, the Champion Hurdle, the Champion Chase, the Stayers Hurdle, and the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Yeah, it's like a smile from over here as well. So Nominal No Bet on all of them. But one man who was in really smart form this weekend, of course, was Willie Mullins. 6 out of the 8 Grade 1s. Can anyone stop him at Cheltenham?
Well, he was dominant, but he's certainly going to be scratching his head a little bit ahead of Cheltenham. So although he's cleaned up as expected at Dublin Racing Festival, the horses that we thought might win haven't. So he definitely have his thinking to be done ahead of Cheltenham.
There's been a shake-up in the market. We'll get into all this, of course. A few words with Paul Townend as well.
Yeah. I like Danny Mullins with Superstar. Willie Mullins did brilliantly. Could do better. Could have got the clean sweep, really. Let's be honest with it. A couple of letdowns, but, you know, it's Cheltenham. 5 weeks away. Dead excited. Fair play, Mullins.
But one that he didn't win was the first of the weekend, of course. The 2 mile 6, Nathaniel Lacey and partners, solicitors, yada yada, and novices hurdle. Did go to good land. 7-2 now for the Ballymore. Can he serve it up to Hermes Allen? And you've got a bit of a tidbit for us.
Yes, Barry Connell sat there in the tent at Leopardstown in the morning and said, punters that are here now, play the double. Marine National, which you'll be a fan of, will win the Supreme. And
Needs a run.
Will win the Ballymore. He said that's the double. Was super confident, and to be fair to Goodland, ran a great race, hit the front, and nothing was getting past him. Stayed on well, didn't he? So the shortening is justified.
Yeah.
You'll be happy in the Barry Connell camp, but as we know, I'm a Hermes Allen fan, so retains his spot at the top of the market. But Goodland was impressive at the weekend.
He was, yeah, no, he really was. I mean, this is looking like a really hot Ballymore now. If Mullins is in, Pass comes here. We'll talk about Gaelic Warrior a little bit later, Champ Kylie. I mean, this could be the hottest novice hurdle. Yeah,
it's a really open novice hurdle. I mean, you can give cases for and against everything in the race. I will say that I backed 2 winners at the weekend. One was Goodland, so I thought, well, hey, we're off to a flyer here.
It's all downhill for
and the last one was in the bumper. fun. So, you know.
We won't talk about what happened in between.
No. If I bookended the cards, more or less.
There you go.
That's all you need.
This impressive winner, though. Chance?
Has every chance, and, you know, the confidence coming from trainer, even jockey. Like,
what a brilliant jockey he is.
Great jockey.
Exactly
Great
that.
jockey.
And I know this is a comment that gets thrown around a lot, but if it was a Willie Mullins trained horse, would be shorter. And you know what? I quite like it when a slightly smaller yard has a load of confidence for one, because they don't get as many, but when they get a good one or a good few, that's their stars. They pin their hopes, they target them nicely, they get them primed, as everyone does, but they really do think this is a smart horse.
And it was a signal for the British. We had 3 runners. The shortest price was quietly fancied.
Yeah.
Tailed out with the washing in this race, wasn't it? We've all been caught. Who we did like.
We did like, and fair play to Twisty going over there and having a go. And what did he pay? 270 grand for it. You might as well have a little go over there. But I think I said to you guys privately, look, the best racing in the world's in Ireland. The best jockeys in the world, the best trainers in the world, the worst camera angles on television. I mean, you are looking. We discussed this. You're looking at it and you're going.
You're trying to play around.
You do that thing when you're watching a race. You go, is he 6 clear here? No. It's yeah. So
they're in the van, weren't they?
Yeah.
The van coming down the straight. Right, let's move on then. So That's the Ballymore.
Hermes Allen.
I'm still with Hermes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so am
Yeah,
I.
yeah.
Like, it's the most visually impressive horse I've seen.
Yeah. Absolutely agree.
Or at least in this race, yeah.
Right, let's move on to the... We're going to do these in order they came to the Dublin Festival. It's the easiest way to do it, I think, because it was so much class over the weekend. The Spring Juvenile Hurdle, one that Paul Townend would want to forget, and Willie was right on his case, Joel.
Yep. I think you're more sympathetic to jockeys. I'm very much for going, jockey, that was brilliant. Danny Mullins, superb jockey over the weekend, and generally has been for the last 4 or 5 years. I thought Townend gave it a shocker. I think he gave it an absolute shock. He gave it too much to do. All right, he got stuck in trouble.
Well, there's one thing, obviously, the horse came back the outside and Rich Ridges came back in him. Not only that, when, I can't remember which one it was now, pulled out on, another one of Willie's pulled out wide.
Yeah.
Cannon went 3 wide and Cannon and Cannon and Cannon. So
same stable.
On the chase track, yeah.
Well, that just proves it. In Ireland, there are no team tactics. I'll tell you what,
Certainly wasn't
there's some kicking off in that weighing room afterwards.
I'd imagine so, yeah. You used the word shocker. Mine would be unfortunate. And as you said, I'm more sympathetic. But it all happened at the wrong times for Paul Townend on Lossiemouth. As you said, got brought back by stablemates as Danny Mullins kicked on shortly after. So not only did Lossiemouth have to lose pace and then regain and get back up to speed, so she'd have to put in some extra effort to get back up to speed. As she did that, Danny then kicked from the front. So she had to kind of go up a gear, then up a gear again.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to ask.
Had a hard race. He wasn't happy. He thought he just left alone.
It reminded me of going for a drive with my grandma, who's 80 odd, and you're in there and you go from first gear down to 4th, and then you back up. It was a little bit like that, and you expect better from a top jock.
She did well to get as close as she did.
Yeah,
she did. Yeah, and
should have won.
It's frustrating. Yeah, probably the best horse in the race still. The question begs: how does a young horse like that come out of the race
38
with
days.
not long to go till Cheltenham?
42 days.
And that's probably the frustration that Willie showed. Is he is now thinking this horse was supposed to have a hard. It's a Grade 1, but not be asked too much today. And then go to Cheltenham. And it really puts me off backing her for Cheltenham because
we said that,
I don't know how she'll be between now and then.
I think we both agreed that Lossiemouth would win. Nobody want to get near her. She's just the best horse in the race by a mile. And then I was hoping that she'd shorten. It's gone the other way. And then we get on Blood Destiny to flip over.
Well, I was about to say he was cut from 9 to 3 just for standing still in his stable.
Yeah, which the plan's gone out the window. Blame Paul Townend. I was hoping for a good 8-9 to 1.
What about Musselburgh? Afadil won yesterday. Only won by a length and a half, but I was really impressed with on that one at Taunton. He's been cut 12 to 1 from 25 to 1 for Paul Nicholls for the Triumph Hurdle. Afadil.
Not for me.
Not for me.
I'm looking at the top 3. The way I see it, Lossiemouth.
Because it's British.
Well, you've got that as well, as we proved by going over there. There is that. Now, you normally when you say this, you're looking for confidence from us because you've had a few quid on.
No, I haven't. To be fair, I'd rather you didn't.
It's not for me at all.
I sum it up. Lossiemouth is the best horse, but is a nervy bet considering the hard race she had. But should have the better of Gala. Is it Marcia? I can't remember how you pronounce the last bit. But the horse that Danny won on at the weekend, which leaves, as Joel said, Blood Destiny to hopefully be the safer bet, as we think has nearly as much or as much class as Lossiemouth. So I'm avoiding the favourite off the back of a hard run. Blood Destiny could be just as good and is a better price.
We are then Blood Destiny for Frankie and Joel in that one. What a race we've got. Second race of the meeting is going to be the Arkle, and El Fabiola put up a stunning performance to win the Irish version. Does this sort out the Mullins 2-mile novice chase pecking order? Dysart Dynamo appreciate it, well beaten off. I mean, he's going to meet John Bon again, isn't he? Mark II, first and second at Aintree last year.
I think this is a vote in the John Bon books for me. I think it's a vote of confidence for John Bon. I really do. Al Fabiola was the least fancied of the Mullins horses, so a surprise in the market, at least on the day. Also, if you looked at the comments about Appreciate It and what they were all saying, I think, again, Willie won the race at DRF, but is slightly scratching his head going towards Cheltenham. And as you mentioned, that former entry with John Bon, and for me, John Bon was always going to get better over fences and has looked nothing short of class. So I think Willie's got 3 great horses in the Arkle, but I don't know if any of them will beat John Bon.
See him this week.
Yeah, 100%. John Bon. When's he racing?
Warwick on Saturday.
Warwick on Saturday. It's been John Bon. I was as strong on John Bon as Edwardstone from the start. And even though that was 10 lengths at the weekend. Al Fabiola.
And he made a mistake 3 out as well.
Yeah, he did. But for John Bon as well, just push that price a little bit more for us. Get the wheelbarrow on.
Still on the John Bond fan train here.
Is he British?
Yeah, can't possibly win. One that caught the eye sticking on in the second. I know you're a massive fan. Banbridge. 4-1 from 12-1. Not for the Arkle, but for the Turners up in trip.
Devastated. 16 for the Arkle I've got.
But he's in the Drimore. It was the trip in the ground that went against him. Sticking on there. He's one of the horses that falls between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, hock and a hard place. Very good, yeah.
Rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Just that in between trips.
I was really happy. We discussed it at length last week, and I kept saying everything comes back to Banbridge. Everything comes back to Banbridge, and staying on because final flight booked for fourth. What you said, and just kept staying, and I got very, very, very excited. I don't think we were going to win after last, but no, Banbridge, great. It's a very skinny price there for the turn, isn't it?
Won't beat Mighty Potter.
Won't beat Mighty Potter. We'll come on to that shortly because I know you're a massive fan of him. Right then, one race I'm looking forward to dissect is the Irish Gold Cup because I know these two boys are in very different camps over how impressive or not Galopin des Champs looked. We'll go with a case 4 first with Frankie. On paper, it's an 8-length win in an Irish Gold Cup, onwards and upwards to the blue ribbon at the festival.
Certainly. I cannot understand how you can't be happy with that. It's a 3-mile chase against top-class horses at Dublin Racing Festival. Davies had a crack over the last. He's gone with that horse easy enough. Then Paul's asked for more on him, and he's gone 8 clear. Stattler, who everybody's been talking up, has finished into second, so we know that Davy probably had his chance over the last and then was beaten. And he's won easy, 8 lengths. How flashy can you be after 3 miles? What do people want? They want him to be finishing like Constitution Hill around 2 miles. It's not going to be the same. He jumped well, he travelled well. As I said, Davy took him on, brushed him aside. Stattler was staying on.
Quite literally. It was naughty.
Slowly or slower into second, and he went 8 clear after just being asked the one time there was another gear there. And as you look at the Gold Cup market, I know I've been saying for a long time Galopin's too short to back, but to see him pushed out after that, now I'm thinking that's worth a bet.
Frankie was impressed. Joel and the layers not so. Eased 11-8 to 13-8. Stattler clipped 13-2 from 7-1, half a point. Look, they're both Willie Mullinses, aren't they?
Yeah.
There is Stattler winning the National Hunt Chase last year. An extra 2.5 furlongs will suit this fella.
Yeah, he was proper staying on. And again, I thought Davy was booked for second, and it was standing on Stattler, wasn't it?
Paddy Mullins.
Paddy Mullins, rather. There's a few of them. Patricia Mullins was on the on the Stattler. I'd go with the bookies on this one. I'd have clipped Galopin des Champs out as well. I'd have knocked it out because.
Gosh.
Come on, I'm not knocking it out. Come on. I wasn't impressed, and I thought it was a really hard race. A really hard race. We watched it back again this morning.
So if it was a really hard race and it's won by 8 lengths, what more do you want?
That's a great point you make. But I wanted, if you're back in summer, 11-8, now 13-8 for a Gold Cup, I wanted to win more impressively than that. I really did. And I don't want 5 weeks away to have your horse, because it wasn't knocked about. It wasn't, oh, well, we've got another day in this. That was the pot for that day. And, everything's going to be trying in a grade 1, hopefully. But, Stattler was trying as well in second. It was, I'm so on the bookie side, and never say that. I wasn't impressed. And you can take you at 13-8 and.
But as we look down the market, Galopin des Champs has won by 8 lengths and been pushed out, right?
Yeah.
And we're saying that's unfair. Protectorat has been well beaten.
Yeah, but Protectorat's 14-1
Yeah, and we're saying that's now a great bet. A Plutard has been pulled up, and we're now saying that's a great bet. Where do we go with this? The one horse that has run true to form and won well has been pushed out. Everything else has been beaten. Yeah. And the horse closest to it in the market, Stattler, that however was 8 lengths behind. So, I mean, the puzzle's not adding up for me. Galopin des Champs is the strong favourite, and rightly so. But we've now seen him. We've seen all the horses that we needed to this year to make our guess. Galopin was the only one that we hadn't seen, and that's why I said it's too short. We haven't even seen him yet. We have now.
All right, in Ireland,
he's delivered.
what are they saying? Because they keep going on about Brandy Love and Galopin des Champs. So, it's like what are they saying? Because this is where there's no point asking as Brits what are they saying over there.
They're happy.
Right. Well, it's a different opinion. I prefer to have Protector at 14.
Yeah, of course,
Like
of course. You know, and
different strokes for different folks.
yeah, and an each way bet in the Gold Cup, I understand. So I'm not saying you couldn't have one each way, but I just can't see why it's been pushed out.
That's that would be the worst favourite of a Gold Cup ever.
It's not the only time they disagreed, because on Friday's Punter's Guide, it was hilarious. He napped Mighty Potter. He couldn't have him at all. What happened, Joel?
Well, James de Burley. Now, I was. My missus was driving to Scarborough. We stopped off at McDonald's, and I said, "We'll take it. Do you want to drive the rest of the way?" So I got it, and I'm there, and just talking about like kitchens being fitted or whatever. And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." I'm watching it there, and I'm going, "Oh, broken up signal," and oh, yeah. He had a shocker.
You love this stuff, don't you?
Mighty Potter was. I'll give it to him. Mighty Potter was phenomenal, fantastic, and it's a very strong bet for the.
Turners. 6 to 4. I mean, obviously, the Banbridge have been cut. 6 to 4 from 3 to 1 for the Turners.
Yeah, I'm not, backing something anti-post at 6 to 4 is nothing special. But I only think this horse gets shorter. So if you are thinking, I'm going to turn up to Cheltenham and I do fancy it, and I am going to back it, which in my opinion is a fair bet, as I said, anything over evens, might as well get a few quid on now. Because it'll only get shorter as we get closer, and it'll probably be backed in on the day. And this, for me, because the Turners is a big race, but it's slightly less sexy than your Supremes, your Champion Hurdles, your Champion Chases. They don't get talked about quite as much, these favourites, and I think that's why you even got even money at the Dublin Racing Festival. These horses don't quite hit that top level of kind of, your racing post headlines, but he is a strong favourite.
Is he the Delta Work Camper Bankers?
Yeah. I think he could be.
Hang on, so
Gordons. We need one more Gordons. We'll have the Gordon treble.
There's the second leg. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because whilst Mighty Potter was strutting his stuff at Leopardstown...
The double! It was the double! It was the most obvious double of all time!
He sent one to Sandown.
We did all agree on this.
We did all agree, yeah. We did all agree.
And actually, everybody at Leopardstown was watching this on the big screens. And there was a moment, wasn't there? I'm sure you two watched them where you thought, oh, God.
It was beat. It was beat and came back, which is the...
He stays. He stays. I said that's one thing was the hill's going to suit him. I'm worried about the ground. Maybe he's got a little bit of tap for toe, but when he hit that hill, between the second last and last, he's absolutely bounded clear. 3 to 1 for 15 to 2 for the Brown Advisory. Now, he's only in that and the National Hunt Chase. He's not qualified for the latter. So, bizarrely, we know exactly where he's going, which isn't always the case with these novice chases.
Yeah.
I mean, he did what he needed to do, and staying is the game, isn't it, for the Brown Advisory?
He was impressive.
Well, bearing in mind Time Mill's second favourite, and I know what you think of it.
But did he win last time when I went out? The first one, live through this. Not a fan.
He's going to keep them apart.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. The confidence I have in Mighty Potter, and like I said, the vibes around Leopardstown when Mighty Potter won, Davey was so happy, Gordon was happy, Jack was in there celebrating because they want to try and get Jack on that if he makes the festival. I know it's tight, but that's a serious horse. Probably one of Gordon's best. So I don't think they take it on. And I mean, every chance. 3 to 1's fairly short, maybe got slightly carried away, but staying is the game for the Brown. And he was tough.
Yeah, you know he's going to see it out. We definitely know that. From that to the 2 mile chases then, there was a bit of a shock on Sunday in the Dublin Chase. Blue Lord doubled in price from 3 to 1 to 6 to 1. Bizarrely, he'd halved in price last week when an Ergoman got beat and Edwardstone got beat. It's pushed back out. Gentleman to me, 50 to 1 going into Dublin Chase at the weekend. 8 to 1 now on the back of that success. He's a spring horse. Ignore everything that happens in the first half of the season. He beat Edwardstone at Aintree last year. OK, I know he had a hard race in the Arkle. Forget the Tingle Creek. Forget his run earlier on in the season. He's obviously coming good now. I'm not sure if he's good enough to be a champion chaser, but there's no doubt that he's just a horse that relishes decent ground in the second half of the campaign.
Yeah, spring horse, them colours. I'm sure they'll have filled the boots at 50s or whatever. I think Blue Lord was a disappointment, and this was a surprise winner for me. So it's a little bit of both. It was a great ride on the winner, really good ride on the winner, but Blue Lord was disappointing. So it was a little bit of both. I don't know if we ran that again straight away. I know we can't. But if we ran that again straight away today,
were we surprised about how well Blue Lord won over Christmas? Were we expecting the same Blue Lord to turn up, or was that the anomaly?
Well, people were talking about this horse being really good, and it was their forgotten version of Edwardstone, because people were, knocking the horse a little bit, and I was as well. I think, no, it's the real deal. It really is the real deal, this Blue Lord horse. But I mean, 8-1's. I mean,
it looks more wide open. Look, what I've seen in the last 8 days at Cheltenham and then here, just from what went from a match, an Ergumin odds on Edwardstone, now it's just been blown wide open.
Well,
Editor Jeet's thrown his hat into the ring. This fella's thrown his hat into the ring.
Well, can we talk about Editor Jeet? Right, because the first race that it won was when Edwardstone was unseated, yeah? Yeah. The second one, Edwardstone was winning everywhere bar the line, before and after. Still convinced after watching it. So I don't know how that got beat. You think I was talking out my pocket here. I don't know how that got beat.
We all were.
We all were. That horse is there on merit. And what it was like 11-2 or something, 6-1 or something over the weekend. And you're going, is it one of those that you've forgotten about? Is it really that good? And then again, it's wide open. You've got to say, yeah, but everything just ticks back to, Edwardstone.
Yeah, I'm still with him.
So am I. It's just frustrating, isn't it, that he is the shorty out of some that have maybe. The only thing I say
on
about
that selection, then he's not in.
Well, the weird thing is,
too competitive.
An Ergumin disappointed, Blue Lord's disappointed, Edwardstone's been beat, and yet he's gone from 5-2 into 6-4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the.
But we do all agree on the fact that we do
I
think he is the right favourite. So that's why.
Yeah, well, my mate texted me the weekend, and it was like the only winner in that race, Edwardstone. Meaning like after the result came through.
Yeah, well, he's been there, he's done it. Edwardstone then still for the team. Right, the Irish champion hurdle. Honeysuckle hearts were broken, beaten for the second successive time. We'll talk about her shortly. State Man, though, making all 11-4 from 9-2. Paul Tanning got himself in a bit of bother earlier on in the card, as we know, but he kept it simple on State Man. Went from the front, impressive. I know what you're going to say, but can he serve it up to Connie Hill?
No. Very impressive. And Paul Townend, like I said, made no mistakes. Neither did State Man. Very polished run. Took every hurdle well, travelled well, quickened up well. I think the horses in behind ran a good race. Honeysuckle ran a great race. Vauban ran well. And talking to Rich Ritchie before, his words were, I hope we can make up the gap. He didn't even say, I hope we beat State Man. So they obviously know how good this horse is. I just don't think he beats Constitution Hill. I really don't.
Did he say he's on his haircut?
Wear some scissors.
He did, however, after Lossiemouth was beat, say we will win at the festival confidently.
What about Lossiemouth?
Yeah.
Well, I should bloody hope so. I'll be honest, how much that horse cost? He's just been done in at 1 at 3 or whatever.
Yeah. State Man make the case?
No, I thought State Man was really, really impressive. It was a very obvious trifecta straight after the race. Vauban was trying for second. Was impressed with Honeysuckle.
She kept on. We know she stays.
Yeah. She kept on and probably running up to a mark anyway. And I'm still waiting for that imminent announcement that was going to happen on ITV Racing. You wouldn't have seen that, but it was like they spoke to Henry, they spoke to Kenny Alexander, and everyone was, well, it's not my decision, but it's not my decision, is it?
They probably don't know, do they?
The Twitter poll. What do you want?
They probably don't know yet.
I'm just running through that. I mean, I know you've mentioned before. I'm just looking through the market for this. Constitutional State Man. I'm guessing Vauban will throw his hat into the ring. Epitome, they've said today, more likely to go for the mare's hurdle.
Yes.
She's not entered. She will be supplemented. There's a chance.
Why was she not in the mare's hurdle?
We'll come on to that.
Anyway, I forgot to press enter.
Well, there's a clip doing the rounds just after the race, wasn't there?
Yes. I like Statesman. It's very good.
She'll probably go mares, and then you're up to Echoes in Rain. Love Envoy, Imagine to go mares. Sir Gerhard's going jumping. I like to meet the Twist and Davises. I mean, this is going to cut up to a small field. So Echoes in Rain.
Yeah. 25.
25's not running no bet.
Yeah,
that's a fair bet.
That's what I said this morning. I was really impressed.
Because she's favourite for the mares as well.
Yeah. But I just thought, well, this is where the no runner, no bet. I always get this wrong. No runner, no bet.
Non-runner, no bet.
Right, you get your money back if you don't run. Yeah,
that's
it. Why don't you just call it like it is? So
it is.
Yeah, all right. Stop getting up on me. Come on, team tactics. 25-1. After, really impressive. She was really lovely. After I think she fell up previous time. 25 is a really nice price. Echoes in Rain if she goes there.
That's the thing. Beauty
because you get your money back, you see.
Yeah, it's called
exactly
non-runner, no bet. Right, Champions of the Future, maybe. Facile Vega's copybook blotted. Went off like a scolded cat, taking on high definition. That one was incredibly high definition. Actually got clipped by in a few films after that. God knows how. Irish Point.
Well, what happened? Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't fancy the horse anyway, high definition, and I didn't watch it back. I watched it live the once where did he sort of he fell off, didn't he? But it was.
I think he just stepped and
it was just an unseat.
A bit of gravity issue. Irish Point never went in the yard, but LA Tom wasn't unbacked. 14-1 wins. Now that one's 5-1 from 25-1. LA Tom for Willie Mullins. Facile Vega 4-5 going into the race, out to 7-2. Do we read too much into that? Was he headstrong, taking on? Won't run.
Yeah, again, it's the same situation as Lossiemouth. The question is as much about how good is Facile Vega as it is how fit can Facile Vega be after a bit of a disastrous race. So there's two negatives to take away from Facile Vega backers, and although my money wasn't down, I was a Facile Vega fan, but now you're saying, is this horse what we think it is? And is there going to be problems after that race? So it's really hard to fancy, and your selection, your number one, Marine Nationale, suddenly looks pretty tasty.
Yeah, Barry Connell knows.
Barry Connell knows, he certainly does. I've never heard a trainer so quick to answer yes to does this, do you win the Supreme? It was before it left Nick Luck's mouth that he goes, yes, we will win.
I'll be devastated if he said no. Go on, won't run.
I don't where'll it go? Punchestown or... No, Aintree?
You don't really come for Aintree.
I was going to say, Nichols will be cleaning up at Aintree.
It's a frustrating race, that, especially if I want to see high definition get a clear round.
So they're going into the race in the back of that, is it?
No, not at all. So my Supreme is a bit muddled, really. Facile Vega I thought was very strong, and now I couldn't back. We still haven't really seen high definition jump many hurdles, so who knows what that's going to do. Marine Nationale looks a strong bet. Gaelic Warrior was impressive, but
didn't beat out. Was impressive.
Well, I mentioned Gaelic Warrior because Willie Mullins had an open day today, as recording, and this is more likely to go for the Ballymore. Now, he's 5-1 for the Supreme.
So that was this morning, so it's champion hurdle by lunchtime.
yeah, Gold Cup by night time.
The 5 furlong sprint at Wolverhampton.
5-1 for the Supreme, 4-1 for the Ballymore. I mean, this isn't, no one to know about, this is all in Joel, just so you know. 5-1 for the Supreme, 4-1 for the Ballymore. I mean, he was impressive off top weight. I know it was only handicappers he beat, but he did it nicely off top weight. And for these novice contests, we've seen it before, horses that win handicaps go for the Betfred hurdle, which is this weekend, go back in Supreme, often run well. The hurly-burly and the hustle and bustle of the handicap stands them in good stead.
It does, yeah. Boodle's backers might get their money back.
Yes. Go on, Brazil.
I mean, after the weekend, you're looking at...
that hurts.
What was it 127, 121 or something ridiculous like that? I got the mark that this ran off into the Boodles?
127,
127, and then State Man that is challenging for a champion hurdle. 141 for the county hurdle. It's bonkers, these two horses.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there you go.
I think Gaelic Warrior wins wherever it goes.
You think?
No, I really do. I think
it goes to the Ballymore with good land and Hermes LN. Hello. What a race.
What?
Yeah.
Like we say, when you're wrong, it's a game of opinions.
But the fact Facile Vega's been beating stuff there.
Are they tempted to go?
Are they tempted to go?
Yeah. Well, apparently not, from the stable tour this morning.
Oh, come on. You believe that?
Yeah, well, this is like what jockeys do. Yeah. Where's going to be running? The Gold Cup. Where's going to be running? Champion Hurdle. Where's going to be running? He won't be running at all.
Yeah, I couldn't have it to beat Hermes Allen or Goodland. I think they're better than Gaelic Warrior. And the campaigns have kind of showed that.
Yeah, and he won't beat Marine Nationale. Barry Connell said so.
Needs a run.
Exactly that.
Mate, you're going to say afterwards when he gets stuffed, I should have got a run into it.
So it's got a fair chance everywhere, but not a good chance anywhere.
Well summed up. Right, let's just talk about the best of the rest then before we wrap up. Such a busy weekend, wasn't it? City Chief in the Towton for Nicky Anderson. Kind of let down by Ballygriffin Cottage not running a race. 8-1 from 25-1 for the National Hunt Chase. That looks like that's his only festival entry, City Chief.
National Hunt Chase could be won by Gaia de Manil going up in trip.
He was third, wasn't he?
Yeah. Behind our heroic Mighty Potter. We'll just keep all of those horses in the frame.
1-2 last year in the Towton. Ahoy Senor, Noble Yates.
Yeah.
Well, Noble Yates. You look now when you know. Were we having a laugh?
I haven't seen it. I was engulfed in Irish racing, so I haven't actually watched the race.
And in Ireland, they don't have tellies, you see. That's it. He's just coming in.
Chasing Fire in the first at Sandown. I mean, he's in the Supreme, one of the rare British runners in the Supreme. He was clipped. That looked a bit of a staying performance to me, though.
It stayed, but again, it's British, and I didn't.
Someone beaten.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't make a lot. Look, we went over to Ireland, with 3 this weekend, and
I'm running the handicap. I can't remember the name of the horse. Can't remember, third and one of the handicaps anyway. British trained. But yeah, I think I agree, Matt. You need speed for the Supreme.
Topville Ben.
That's the budget. Yeah. Third, I think, finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need speed, and Chasing Fire maybe doesn't quite have the same speed as the ones we've previously mentioned at the top.
Third time lucky, what a ride that was given. Keeler Woods. Grand Annual or Aintree?
Right, because I looked at that and I went, that doesn't look like Harry Skelton. It doesn't look like Bridget Andrews, because it wasn't. It was Keeler Woods. A brilliant ride, and I don't think anybody wanted to ride that horse. It's something wrong with that horse. As a trained vet, looking at it.
I'm not sure Cheltenham's his track, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Aintree, I'd say, yeah.
Aintree, 100%.
It's one of those that has.
Skelton at Aintree, money down. Langer down again. He gets more mentions on the show.
Langer down. Langer down fan club.
But Keelan's screwed up now, hasn't he?
Well, we're fans of Keelan as well, so there we go.
I like Keelan Woods.
Right. One horse then from this weekend.
We know where I'm going. It's Mighty Potter.
He's in the multi with
He is, yeah. Can't have him beat. I know they've got to get round. They've got to jump, but he is definitely the class act in the Turner's Field, and I can't have him beat at the moment.
And the fact you felt it from the connections, the way they were celebrating, that they know they've got a good one.
Yeah, for sure. Even just seeing him in the paddock before, everything about that horse, the way it won, the way everyone celebrated, everything from the weekend was that is a very, very good horse. And that race has thrown up Galopin de Champs and Monkfish, who gets a weird amount of mentions.
Monkfish always gets a mention.
He's been out parading today.
Yeah.
He's looking fit and well.
They were the last 2 winners of that race, and Mighty Potter was just as impressed as they were. So yeah, anything above evens for me goes and wins.
Banbridge are still.
The Turners, or keeping the faith for the Arkle.
Well, it looks like Turners, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It does, which is devastating at 16-1 for the Arkle. Staying on, as I mentioned earlier. I thought it looked really good. That'd be for me. And also, please, if the news isn't out there now, run a honeysuckle at Cheltenham in the mares. Just look, I'll be going. It'll put eyes on the sport, and there's not many people's horses left. And I know some racing fans go, oh, not about that. It's all about the money or whatever. I backed Honeysuckle at the weekend when anybody was saying State Man's, is the up and comer. I fell for it at the weekend.
It's the ultimate heart head, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I went with the wrong one, as I always do.
And you mentioned this before. No matter what happens at Cheltenham, fingers crossed, touch, when she comes back safe and sound.
Gets pulled up.
Even like Istebrat did.
Istebrat. Charlie Swan was on, wasn't it, that day? And it was. And wasn't going with a circuit to go, and it was the biggest cheer.
Pulled on front of the stand.
Yeah. Same as when Corto's fallen or whatever, and Ruby's got back on and paraded and stuff like that. It's very different to flat racing. Very different to flat racing. And something like that, you don't have to, you don't mind doing your dough on.
You'd like to see her. Imagine she hits the frame. If she finishes in the top three, I mean, winning would be amazing. But second or third and back into the parade ring. And to have you have the winner come in, but you'll also have Honeysuckle upside in the second spot or third spot.
But I know where I'd be. I know where I'd be for the cheer. And just imagine if she went and won. And then the fairy tale is, ITV will be slipping off table. But she didn't that wrong at weekend either.
No.
And Voidbound was trying to get second, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really, really trying.
Yeah. The form is there to win a
match. A little bit teary there.
Yeah, didn't it? It was proper welling up.
I don't know.
Right, there we are then. That's Dublin Racing Festival wrapped up. This man was lucky enough to be there. Great insight from him at the track. Thanks to Joel as well for joining us. Don't forget Punter's Guide on Friday. 6-1 winner with Greenbrook on Saturday. 10-1 winner with Castle Robin in the masses as well.
And a 1-3 loser.
Say that, we'll cut that one. These are the boys in form and to follow. Friday we'll have a look at the weekend action. It's Super Saturday at Newbury, and we'll be back on Monday to review it, which is kind of like the final trials, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
I know we've got the Kempton after as well, the Adonis and things.
Yes. I mean, what Warwick this weekend? What's John Bond? See what happens.
John Bond, Love Envoy.
Yeah.
We might see, I think, is it? Yeah. And God, who else am I thinking? There's one more, definitely.
Denman Chase, there's a Game Spirit Chase.
Carlisle today. have a great week.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's a long way till Friday. Right, thanks for the boys showing us. That was the road to Cheltenham. We are 5 weeks away from the greatest show on turf.